Hey everyone, welcome to our second guest speaker of Tuesday, which is Elizabeth. And we're going to talk about things like personal greatness, personal clarity, and you can ask her questions that are related to business or related to non-business, just kind of personal things that you need to get clear on. Haha. But before, I'm going to ask her to introduce herself, but before I do that, I just want to give everyone a little heads up or a reminder about the giveaway. So what we're doing is everyone who joins us live on one of these broadcasts this week, if you comment, you're automatically entered into a giveaway. And so what we'll do is at the end of our live stream, I'll go and see how many comments there are, and then I will make Elizabeth pick a number. And then whatever number she picks, I'll see who commented at that number, and that's who's going to win the giveaway. And the giveaway is a social media feature on one of my platforms, so either Facebook, Instagram, or LinkedIn, depending on what you want. So that's what we're going to do. That's my thank you for people tuning in live. And hint, the more you comment, the better chance you have to win. So go ahead and ask a bunch of questions. Tell us your thoughts and feelings about what we're saying. Don't be shy. So I'm just checking quickly to see who I can see is here. I have to have the live stream open. I've got it in Be Live. I've got it on this screen. I've got it on my phone. So I'm not going to miss anything as long as I can find the broadcast. There it is. So I can see Valerie is here. Hey, Valerie.
Hi, Valerie.
And Sierra's here.
Hi, Sierra.
All right. So Elizabeth, do you want to give us a quick intro of you and your business?
Sure. So it's Elizabeth Teliz McQuarrie, and the business name is Decode Greatness Consulting and Coaching. I'm kind of one of those women that have been kind of jack of all trades, not sure of master of what yet. Every time I turn around, I'm trying something new. I guess a little bit about myself is, again, master of none, but jack of all trades. I have a medical background. I have a business background. I was in politics. I've served on lots of different boards and volunteered in different areas.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a mom of 3 grown kids now. My baby is turning 18 in 6 days.
Oh,
so yeah,
officially an adult.
I know. And they're all 18 and 20 and stuff, and they're thinking they're going on 40 because they're telling me what I need to do.
Right.
So it's really interesting. It's interesting to have those kind of kids that are older. So I've had an opportunity to live in different parts of Canada. I speak Spanish fluently because I'm a child of immigrants. So my parents celebrated 50 years of being in Canada.
Oh, wow.
On March 16th.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
I know. I've tried lots of different things, lived in different places. I was coaching one of my clients the other day and just kind of saying, oh, yes, well, when I did this, and they looked at me and goes, so what haven't you done or tried?
Right.
Right. And I'm like, I've never scuba dived. I haven't tried that.
Yeah.
Because I was telling them about when I was a kid and I was scared to do something and I pushed myself to do it to overcome a fear. And it was actually kissing and touching a killer whale. Ready to do that, right? And that's when they said, like, what?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sierra says, Elizabeth often speaks in Spanish to me. I'm learning. Yeah.
And Brandy, you know that.
I know that too. Yeah. If you spend probably more than 5 minutes with Elizabeth, you're gonna learn some Spanish if you didn't already.
Sí, muy bien.
Yeah. Also, I've got think Charlene is here and Susan is here.
Hi, Charlie. Hi, Susan.
So now we're going to talk more about what you do. And I do have a couple questions that were submitted ahead of time. But before we get to that, I wanted to talk about us.
Yes, I'm looking forward to that.
I just wanted to kind of tell everyone, and you and me have done, both of us, our businesses have evolved the whole time we've known each other. We've both kind of done a few different things, and we've worked together in different ways as well. But I wanted to talk about the stuff that we did together most recently, which was actually quite a while now, maybe earlier. What month is it? It was sometime
March. So
it was sometime last year.
Yeah, it was early fall of last year.
Yeah.
Or maybe, yeah, I think it was early fall of last year.
I think
when you were kind of re-ramping your business and going in a different direction. And
yeah,
I was kind of helping you do that, and you were helping me, and we were kind of doing the back end of, okay, so what does that look like for you?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you were kind of had a situation where there was something that you knew had to get done, and you were pretty sure that that was possible, like that those pieces were possible, but you're just like, you didn't have time to to do all the figuring out and connecting things. So then I got I don't know if was it a phone call or a text?
Well, knowing me, it was probably a text going, "Are you free?" and then a phone call, right?
Right, that's true.
Phone girl, right?
Yeah, I think that is what happened.
Yeah, and so basically, it was that. So I mean, I'm just going to jump back one thing. So Sierra, who's on here, is my virtual assistant, and she's got her own business, and so her and I work really closely together.
Mm-hmm.
But there, at some points, I've got her doing lots of other things that I can't do, which is great. But then I know your specialty is all the research and all of learning how technology, combines and what I can do out there. And so that's when I reached out to you and saying, okay, like I've got a funnel campaign that I want to do. I've got, an SCMS. No, what's the initial there? For managing going out systems for emails.
Oh, your email system. Yeah.
And I had what else? And my web page and stuff. And there was lots of, and then I had the booking system. And then I had something else, and it was just trying to get an email system that also booked and told them when it was coming.
Yeah.
I put it in my Google Calendar, and then hooked it up to, they could automatically go onto the CRM. And then how does that work on my Facebook or on my social media? There was so many moving parts that I kind of looked at you and said, so.
Yeah.
So you went out and did all that research and kind of came up with suggestions and where we needed to go and what are some of the back end tools that I needed to get to hook up. And then the other part that I really liked is you gave me options. Like you could do all these things and get these systems that hook up, or you could get this 3 systems that they work better together. They might cost a little more.
Right.
However, where do you want to be in a year from now? Where do you want to be in 6 months from now? Do you want to go back and redo this, or do you want to just do it now, do it right, and then be there, right? And so you asked great questions and got me really thinking about what I wanted to do and where I wanted to be technology-wise, which I have to tell you hurt my head.
I hear that a lot from people. I have learned that I can talk tech with people at about, say, like around the 50-minute mark. I get okay, my brain hurts. We have to stop. I'm done. So of course I'm like, what do you mean? Let's keep going. And people are like, no, I'm not absorbing any more information at this point. We have to stop. Yeah. And no, like you said, I like giving people options because people are at different places. right? Some people just need, like they have a very low budget and they just need to get something up and running right now without a lot of extra expenses, and they'll worry about fixing it later, right? And then some people are at a place where they're like, no, I've done all the bootstrapping and budgeting. Let's just get everything up there and let's do it right so that it's easy to maintain going forward.
Yeah, and I never thought of technology in that way. Like, I know technology changes so fast,
Mm-hmm.
and I thought, well, we'll just do this for now, and that'll be good enough.
Right.
And I love the fact that you ask such good questions on getting me to think differently about technology. That I can't remember what you had compared it to. I'm sorry, I just can't remember. But I remember thinking, well, that's a good comparison. Yeah, I don't want to like rewrite the book, or I don't want to start, creating the boat again to go sailing, 6 months from now, right? And so I remember you asking me good questions like that, and I thought, okay, like, yeah, this my head hurts now. I don't want to do this ever again. Like, at least not for 6 months again. Like, that's just too much. And I have done this, right? As you said earlier, we both, our business has expanded in different ways and we've gone in different directions, and that means we need different technology and systems.
Yeah.
So it was, you asked good questions, and especially since you knew what I had struggled with before, and you kind of pointed out, well, do you want to have that again?
Right. No.
So yeah, it was good.
Yeah. No, that's awesome. So, sometimes I change up the agenda a little bit.
It's me.
Depending on how I'm feeling this second.
I like that.
But I wanted to ask you this question first before we get into more detail about what you're doing. What's your favorite thing about running a business or being like an entrepreneur?
I guess there's a couple of things, but one of them would probably be the autonomy that I have. Mm-hmm. Sometimes it's a great thing because I can set my own schedule and I can do my own thing. Right. But then the other part of the autonomy is the buck stops here too, right? Yeah. So if I want to take off a Friday and go out with a friend or have a bubble bath or, go see a movie or do something, that I have the autonomy to do that. I just know that Saturday I'm going to be in my office working.
Right.
So it is that interesting, autonomy to do what you want, but the work still has to be done. Or if I want to do it at 7 o'clock in the morning, or if I want to do it at 9 o'clock at night. So it's nice to be able to have the autonomy of my work. And then the other thing that I'm really, really enjoying is having the autonomy to work with the people that I want to work with, that align with what I believe, and I know that I can go in and help them do what they want to do and move them forward. And so that autonomy to do what I love to do with the people that I know I can help has been probably the most fundamentally rewarding things that has moved me forward as an entrepreneur.
Yeah, that's very, very similar to how Barb answered this morning. And we ended up going off topic a bit because we started talking about like when you're a right fit for someone and they're a right fit for you, which I think is something on this on this session we're probably going to get into quite a bit. Right. So Sierra was saying being able to make your own schedule is both a blessing and a curse. Yes, that's exactly it, right? You have that flexibility, but you also have to have some sort of discipline to make sure that things are still getting done.
And that's why a virtual assistant is so helpful. Because I get to call her and say, hey, is this done? And she'll go, oh, yes or no, which is Sierra. And then she'll get to say, so did you do this, this, and this? Not yet.
Yeah.
You are an entrepreneur and you're kind of, you are your own boss. It's great, but you need that accountability. So working with Sierra has been so life-changing in that way, having that accountability on both ends.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure. So let's get in a little bit more specifically about what you do. So what I wanted to ask you, since you talked about being able to pick the people that you work with. So I wanted you to tell everyone who those people are. So who are those other people that you really like to work with? And then how do you help them? What do you have going on that you're doing for those people?
Sure, that'd be great. I'm going to break it up into four particular target markets for me. That's where I've been working the most in and love. So the four would be small business, entrepreneurs, nonprofit organizations, and municipalities. So you're probably thinking that has nothing to do with nothing, but there's a lot more strings that attach them than you think. So for small businesses, it's really been businesses anywhere from 15 employees and up, I would say, or 10 employees and up, all the way to 25 to 30 employees. And what's been really interesting is that I've been able to go in there, and usually I get called into any one of, for small business, nonprofit, or municipalities, it's usually been that they're having some kind of what I call an HR problem, which is so-and-so is not talking to so-and-so, and we're having conflict here, right?
Yeah.
So they're just, they're not hitting their targets, or they're not communicating better, or they feel that somebody is, they're not listening to me, and this person's not accountable, and this person's not doing what they need to do, and this person's micromanaging me, and this person has no boundaries. Like, it's really interesting. That's usually what I get called in, is to do more of that kind of conflict management thing. And so that's been really interesting. And that's kind of like, for small businesses, and for all of them, has been usually the way I get introduced to their organizations.
Yeah.
And so for small businesses, it really is about understanding, and I go back to target market for even their businesses, because once they understand a little bit more about who their target market is, then they can understand what they need to do and what they need to change. And we really started talking about then is about what their greatness style is, and what their communication style is, and what their learning style is, and what motivates them. And so that helps to start better communications within the team. It has a ripple effect, because all of a sudden they're communicating with their clients on a different level, and they're communicating with their staff on a different level, and it has the ripple effect onto the clients. So that's the one thing I've noticed, probably about, I guess it's the common theme with everybody that I work with.
Yes.
So small business. For individuals, it has been more like yourself and me, who are entrepreneurs, who, I've been pretty well an entrepreneur my entire life. So even when I was in the medical field, I was a contractor. When I had my janitorial business, I taught other people how to start janitorial businesses. When I was in politics and I left politics, I helped other people start go down that politician road and campaign. So I always found myself that when you're kind of the one person as an entrepreneur, what's interesting is the buck stops here, but so does the accountability. Right? Sometimes they just need to understand how to get clarity in what they want in their personal life, because when you're an entrepreneur, your business is your personal life, and your personal life is your business. Yeah. They have to be able to mesh together well, so you're still who you are inside.
Right.
So,
yeah. Exactly. Because if your personal life is a mess, it's going to trickle into your business, and vice versa. If your business is a mess, it's going to affect your personal life. Like, there's no way that can't happen.
Exactly. Right.
Yeah.
So I find with entrepreneurs, they really need to do what I call a mind dump, and then prioritize and figure out what they actually want to do, and try to find that clarity in who they want to be within the business and outside the business.
Right.
So that's been the biggest thing for entrepreneurs I have helped them with. For nonprofit groups, it's been really interesting, because I went in there helping them again to get better communications and having conflict resolution going on. And it's rippled into, doing leadership training and management training and team development within all the groups. So, right now I'm working with street culture, and I didn't realize that until I got working. They have over 100 employees, right? And they've grown so fast. And some when you start as a small business or a small organization and you grow really fast, you have growing pains because it changes the entire dynamics of who you are and how you do things, right? So again, bringing some clarity about what their process is, what they want to talk about, how they're managing their people so their people can do their job more effectively. So that's interesting. And then for municipalities, I've had some people say, you want to work with government? Sorry, guys, my phone, which is my light, keeps moving on me. So let's stay. The municipalities, I guess I love municipalities because I was a town councillor, and I'm looking at working with smaller municipalities because I find the heart of any councillor, you don't become a counselor for the money because you don't get paid hardly very much, right? You do it because you want to make a difference. And then the people who work within the municipality, your clerk and your CEO and your CFO and all those, again, they're there because they actually love the city they live in and they want to make a difference.
Right.
So their intentions are incredibly noble, but sometimes they just don't know how to communicate to each other. They don't know how to take that and have a 5-star service for the municipality, or what makes them great different than their next municipality. What's that vision that they want to do for their municipality? How do they want to communicate that? And what does that mean to be a stronger, better leader for their municipality and for their teams? Like, how can you make stronger teams? How can you make them a better leader? And what's the difference between management and leadership, specifically in politics? So it's been a passion that just kind of has evolved, and didn't realize it was until I kind of got my feet wet and go, oh, I really like this.
Right.
I like all of those things.
Yeah.
I'm going to pick up on this phone in a minute. I don't know why. I do my video here too, and it always stays, but today.
Not today.
Nope. It's beautiful enough without it. I don't know.
Yeah.
Okay,
the lights. Yeah, no, the lights is still okay.
Okay, there we are.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's still good.
Okay. It keeps going over and over and over.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. So I'm going to hop into one of the questions that I got ahead of time. But for anyone here, who else? I see. Oh, Erin has joined us. Hello, Erin. If you have questions, now that you have heard a little bit more about what Elizabeth likes to do, what she's passionate about, it might trigger some questions. So I'm going to start off with one that was submitted ahead of time. So let's see which one. Okay, so this is a question from Shannon. So she says, I'm a contender for a promotion this year. And while I am excited at the possibility of expanding my responsibilities, I have some doubts at my ability to succeed in a leadership role. How do I prove I am capable when I fear my lack of confidence will get in the way?
I really think that's a very incredible sharing that you're doing, Shannon. I think the fact that you're aware that you want this, but you're scared. I have to give you kudos because I think a lot of people don't share that with others, nor do they understand or have an awareness of it. So I think the fact that you're asking is actually it's like Freud said, if you're asking me if you're crazy, you're probably not.
Right. Yeah.
So, are you ready for leadership? I don't think anyone's ready for leadership. And I think leadership has different levels. I mean, certainly John Maxwell talks about the 5 levels of leadership, right? So I don't think anyone's ready for leadership. And I think that as we grow into who we are and the awareness of what we have, and we learn some skills about dealing with people, about empowering people, about making better relationships, I think those are all skills that will make you a better leader.
Right.
The other thing too is it's very interesting because there's been a lot of statistics out there that have said that a man will take on a new position or a job, right? Even if they think they're anywhere from 20 to 40% qualified, they will take the position and figure it out.
Yeah.
Women won't take necessarily any promotion or any job unless they feel there are 80 to 90% qualified for that.
Right. Yeah. And I actually was just about to ask you, do you think there's a difference between men and women? So, yeah.
There is.
Yeah.
So I think, you need to, Shannon, I think the best advice that I can give you is ask for help along the way, and don't be fearful for asking to help. And the fact that you're asking here, I think, shows the awareness that you have and the courage that you have to ask for help. May it be a coach, may it be your manager, may it be extra training, right? Don't let fear define who you could be.
Right. I like that.
Yeah. And the other thing that I know, I talk about this in one of my courses. I have a 8-week course, and one of the modules in there talks about fear and what does fear actually mean, and how do you overcome fear once you understand where it's coming from. It's coming from a belief system, or it's coming from what we think is an appearance of what we think is actually happening or has happened to us, and it's not true always.
Right. Yes.
And confidence can only come, Shannon, when we have a better understanding of who we are. Right? We're not all born with confidence. Some people are lucky, and they were. I know my son, he was just born with his confidence. At first, I thought it was just 2-year-old stubbornness, but no, it ended up being confidence. I just didn't see it that. But confidence is something that you gain as the more you know about yourself, the more you are aware of your strengths, not just your weaknesses. We all talk about our weaknesses. Like, we all know, I'm sure if I asked you right now to write 10 things you're not good at, no problem. But if I asked you 10 things to write that you're good at, probably most of you can only come up with 3.
Right.
And so confidence really comes in from awareness of who I am, and walking into a room with our head held high, going, you know what? I may not be perfect, but I'm good. And some parts are even great, because I'm aware of who I am, and I have clarity of where I'm going or what I need to work on. So I suggest those are some things, hopefully that answers your question.
Yeah. So instead, because like she said, how do I prove I'm capable? And so she was probably thinking of it like prove she's capable to the other people, but really what she needs to focus on is proving to herself, right? By, exactly like you said, like sitting down and writing out the reasons why, you're totally going to rock this promotion, right? Things like that.
So definitely, when you talk about proving it, you have to first prove it to yourself.
Yeah.
About what the changes you want to get into that role. What do you want to make? What do you think you're going to rock at? And then one of the things that I would suggest is go in there with a very humble attitude. So there's always going to be people who are going to think and judge you for who they think you are. And what you think they can or cannot do. Yeah. So, right. And so you can't let those people define what you can do, because that creates fear in you. Right? So one of the things you can do in proving, as you said, proving to them maybe of what you can do, is I actually wouldn't prove to them. I would ask them questions. Because they have an expectation of what they want from you. They have a judgment call of what they want. And until you're crystal clear on what exactly their expectation is or isn't of you, you can't meet it, because it'll all be a judgment. So ask what their expectations are, so then you understand what those targets are. And then you can ask them, because a lot of things will be like, well, I don't think you can do it. Well, okay, so tell me why. Just don't. Well, what is it that you don't think I can do? Well, I don't know. So that actually has everything to do with their personal insecurity and nothing to do with Shannon at all.
Right. Yeah. They've got something else going on. Maybe they wanted the promotion, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So like Sierra was saying, I've struggled with my age playing into a factor in the workplace. I was a senior manager when I worked in the corporate world, and often felt at either a disadvantage or lack of confidence because I was significantly younger than many of the ones I was trying to manage or lead. How do I combat those fears and grow their respect? Ooh, I was in a similar place as Sierra when I was still working the 9 to 5 before I hightailed it out of there.
What did you do?
Well,
Randy, you're wise too. What did you do?
so I left. No, I left
Okay,
because of other.
yeah.
I left for other reasons. I so because I was working in tech when I was in the corporate world, and so it was a lot of I was working with mainly men, and it was men like computer programmers, men developers, men project managers. There would be women here and there, but by and large it was men. But I lucked out because a lot of the people that I was working with, I had known them for a long time, and so when I said this is how this works, they would believe me. And the only time I ran into problems like that was when it was people who didn't know me. And I would say, this is how it works. And they would be like, what do you know? Right. Which is, probably what, that, what do you know that Sierra was talking about?
Exactly.
But I had those other people who knew that I did know what I was talking about. They had my back. So
Yeah.
I was lucky that I did have other people. Now, if I had come into that role brand new, not knowing anyone, I can see I probably would have struggled a lot. I probably wouldn't have lasted 6 months. I would have been like, you guys suck, I'm out of here. Right? So,
Yeah.
but yeah, so, she was saying, how do I combat those fears and grow their respect? So without that, because I was lucky, like I said. But if I hadn't had that, what kinds of things?
I ran into this twice in my life.
Yeah.
Being my parents had a janitorial business, and at 16, when my grandmother got very ill, and both of my parents had to go and take care of her last dying weeks. Here's a 16-year-old, literally 16-year-old in the summer, with 3 managers that were much older than me, who were women, and a team of 20. That all of a sudden I was the manager, right? So that was my first experience. My second experience is when I went into politics. I was 21 years old. I was the youngest woman ever voted at that time in Ontario to go into town council. And talk about being judged, right?
Mm-hmm.
I was judged on my looks. I was judged on that I didn't know anything. I was, oh, honey, maybe this isn't the right place to you. Don't you want to have kids?
Yeah.
So it was I can definitely understand where you guys are coming from, because I've went through that.
Right.
And I think the best advice I had gotten from somebody was 3 things. One is, until they get to know you for the integrity you have, you will still be judged. And the only way you can build integrity is by building trust. They have to get to know who you are, which is exactly what you said, Brandy, right? Is that they have to get to know who you are, and they have to trust you.
Right.
And then they can see that age has nothing to do with it, right? One of the ways you can build trust and integrity is by being consistent. So if you say you're going to do something, you get it done. You say you're going to meet a target, you get it done, right? So one of the ways that people build trust is being consistent in what they say and what they deliver.
Right.
And the other way of building trust is actually have conversations with people about, so tell me, how are you doing? Like, what's going on with you? Like, once they know you care about them as a person instead of the position that they have, may it be a lateral manager or somebody who works for you, right? You need their trust, and you need to build a relationship, which means finding common ground with these people. What do you have in common that may be inside of work, but also outside of work?
Right.
So be trustworthy, be consistent, build those relationships, right? And ask questions, right? As people always want to impress other people. So if you ask questions, this is my decision. Do you think it could be done a better way? Now, you may or may not listen to them, or you may take some of their advice, but the fact that you're asking gives them authority that, oh, you think my opinion's important, right? So just ask more questions too, to start building those relationships and have those common grounds and that trust.
Yeah.
I mean, I know that's what worked in both of those cases when I was young and I was in politics.
Mm-hmm.
Because when I tried to go in there going, I know all of this.
Yeah, it never works. Yeah, exactly.
Very quickly.
Yeah.
Oh, so it was like, well, that didn't work.
Yeah.
So at least I had a Reeve or someone else who kind of took me under their wing and said, okay, come over here.
Yeah.
Let's have this conversation.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
So it was very humbling to have that conversation because I thought I could just go in there and prove who I am. I'm a young, intelligent, smart, powerful woman. How dare you not see that?
Yeah.
But they don't.
And because you're going into it with your defenses already up.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So once I put those down and I was trustworthy to them, I was consistent, I built relationships, and I didn't have my back up, that it gave them an opportunity to know who I am. And then you also find out, don't get me wrong, you also find out who's is not in your corner no matter what you do either.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Some people, you just can't make them happy no matter what. And it's not worth your time to keep trying.
Exactly, right? They're coming from such a judgmental place because they usually don't like who they are or the position they're in, or it's all right. So when they're not doing that, they are certainly not going to have your back. That's something that as you grow as a person and as a leader, you have to understand that you have to meet people where they are, not where you want them to be, but where they are.
Right.
With that information, that you can make better decisions on how to carry forward and how to find some kind of common ground, especially if you have to work with this person.
Yeah. When we were kind of talking about confidence before, Valerie had a comment that I do agree with, and it's wonderful, but also kind of sad, right? And it applies to more than just confidence. But here's what she said. So, I've learned we are all born with confidence, and our environment and external factors erode it as time goes by. Right.
Sorry, read that one more time for me.
Okay. I've learned that we are all born with confidence, and our environment and external factors erode it as time goes by. Right. So it's kind of like that, when you're a kid, like you don't come out of the womb like hating this and hating that, or like being happy all the time or being sad all the time. You just come out as you are, and then your environment and the things that happen to you as you grow up, right, can have a big impact.
Yeah. When we're born as a baby, we actually only have two fears. A fear of falling and a fear of loud noises. Those are the only two fears that we're actually born with. Everything else is a fear that are experiences and the beliefs that we've had or have been put upon us, though is what grows into that.
Right.
Yeah. And some people, I know this, I guess I don't know, I agree with what she says, but I've also seen people, even as young children, even, toddlers, you have some toddlers that are just more shy, more insecure.
For sure.
So, and I think that maybe they've come to this, it's their turn to come to this world and learn about confidence or learn about self-motivation right? So sometimes, unfortunately, I find there are a few people who are born with that shyness and they're not sure and stuff. But they can learn, right? And especially if they have a really secure foundation to help them do that.
Right. Yeah. 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 Sometimes how you react to stuff, like if you have two people who are equal and their lives are basically the same and something happens to them, but one is just a tiny bit different. The weather is different that day, or they had a bad sleep the night before, or whatever it is, and they react in completely different ways, and suddenly they have very different experiences, right?
Well, yeah, and they've been able to show that. Like I always go back to statistics and stuff. Like I study stuff. I'm always looking, and these girls know that I'm always looking or at some kind of medical document out there. And so one of the studies that showed have followed twins for probably about 35 to 40 years. In this one particular study that I sometimes will read on, they followed twins. And it's the whole theory between nurture and nature. You know, what are we born with and what are we nurtured in? And depending on what the way you look at these twins, that's what the debate and it is, and it will continue to be, because there's information for both sides, right? There's information that you can take two twins and separate them, and yet they will marry exactly the same kind of people.
Right.
They have the same. They like the same food.
The same things. Yeah.
Their personalities are much more alike than they are, you know, distance, and yet they are. One will be more outgoing and one will be more shy. Right. Then you take twins who have been raised together, right? And what are the similarities there? And what we find is you still have one twin who is more outgoing and one twin who is shy.
Right.
And then they still marry people who are either exactly the same or exactly opposite, right? Depending on what's going on in your childhood. But it's interesting because both theories, or both, I guess the study, right, did show the one correlation they had with all twins is it usually had one twin who was more outgoing and one twin who was more shy. And so they talked about that being a temperament that they were born with. So,
right. Yeah. So Erin has an interesting comment that she disagrees with what Valerie said, but I agree with both of them because they're just coming at it from two different angles. So Erin disagrees, but she says, I feel more confident now than ever, but maybe that is my external environment. So that's just a case of you're born this way, bad things happen, so maybe you get less confident. But then as you grow and learn, you get more confident, right? And that comes back to everything that you do, right? Like knowing yourself and getting clear on things.
Yeah. And it really does go back to, you know, the temperaments. So we talk about your greatness style or your temperament style. I mean, for me, I do not just your temperament, but your learning style, how your brain works. You know, there's all these different levels that I talk about within the greatness style. But if you just look at your temperament, you talk about the 4 core temperaments that there are out there. You know, some temperaments will be born with more adaptability. They seem to have more confidence, right? And then you'll have certain temperaments who aren't as adaptable, who are a little bit more shy, who more easily get hurt when somebody says something, right? Other temperaments don't really care what other people say. And you can actually see that even in toddlers. And so it is a little bit about what you're born with. If you're born with blue eyes and you're shy, that's who you're going to be. Can you overcome that? Absolutely. Can it get worse? Absolutely.
Right.
So confidence can definitely be taught or enhanced or lost, depending on what goes on around us.
Right. Yes, for sure. I'm just checking to make sure I'm not missing any comments. I think we're good. So let's talk a little bit. You talked about like temperaments and core types and stuff. And I know one of the things kind of way back when we started working together and there's a certain, I'm going to get the name of the personality stuff wrong, but it's colors. I can't remember.
It was. So one of the things that has happened since we've talked is that I'm in the middle of launching my own temperament that has to do with your greatness style. Right. Still based on 4 types of temperaments, which are usually the ones that are most common out there. But you're right. I used to work more with the color temperaments.
Right. Yeah. And so one of the things that's been coming up recently, for a lot of people I've been talking with, and for myself as well, is that idea of fit, right? So when you're a business owner, you want to work with the people that are going to fit you the best. Or if you're hiring employees or contractors, you want to hire the people that are going to fit with you the best. And I know I did this with my team, depending on when they started. because I wasn't doing it the whole time. But I was like, can you fill out this personality assessment? And it was so that I could get an idea of how they like to work and their communication style, not because I wasn't going to hire people who got a certain result, but just so that I had a clue ahead of time of, okay, how are we going to work together? And, maybe this person I need to send more reminders, but maybe this one I just have to say it one time and I know it's good. Like,
Yeah.
that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Right.
Absolutely. So when we talk about temperaments, there's 4 styles. You've got ones that are more adaptable.
Mm-hmm.
You've got ones. So the greatness styles that I've done is head, eye, heart, and hand. So a head temperament is someone who is very knowledge based, which I mean by that their core need is knowledge and competency. So they are the persons who are going to be doing research. So if you need someone on your team who is all about process and all about research and all about
guess which one I am.
You call someone like Brandy, who's got a lot of temperament, which is the head temperament, right? Which before it used to be inquiring green, right? Because that's what we did before.
I was trying to remember what I was, and I was like, I think I'm green.
I was inquiring green, right? And so if you have someone who is an I temperament, which before used to be called organized goals, they're all about details. Like if you have a contract, you want to send it to somebody who's an I temperament because they will see every detail, right? Mm-hmm. So they're very they like to micromanage things and the process and have a plan for everything. So that's their strength.
Right.
If you have someone who is a heart temperament, right? They're all about unity. So they love to work in a collaborative environment where it's about unity, and they love to actually have good relationships within their personal life and within their work style. Right. Mm-hmm. So they're the ones that are very good with other people, right? So they're people oriented too. And then a hand temperament, which used to be resourceful orange, is all about being adaptable, about getting the work done, about moving forward on things, right? And they're very direct too, or can be.
Yeah.
So if you know these things, then that opens up a whole range of, okay, who do I need on my team? Because I mean, for myself, for instance, I know that I am not good at details, right? And so when I was looking for someone like Sierra, who is very good at details, great, right? So if you understand, I made a conscious decision many years ago that I'm not going to spend 20% of my time working on stuff that I will never be good at.
Right.
I'd rather spend those 20% on things to make myself better, on things that are natural and I can just be an expert at it, right? So I'm going to hire someone who can do it much faster than I can, right? She can edit my emails in 2 minutes, which takes me half an hour because I don't think, is this the right sentence? Is my sentence balances? Is this grammar or is this Spanish? Yeah. I don't know. Right? But when you're creating a team, it's good to know, how am I going to communicate with this person? And is this the person that I need for this particular job or contract, right? Yeah. So it's good to know what people's strengths are. Yes. Can people work outside their strength? Absolutely, right? For many years I didn't have Sierra, so I had to be the detailed person. I had to look. Can I do it?
You did it. You just didn't enjoy it.
I didn't enjoy it, and it took so much more energy. That's what I find. Is that can anybody do anything? Absolutely, but it will take you more energy and more time. And so if energy and time you're willing to give up, then that's fine, right? If you're not, that's when it's really good to invite people who have that as their strength, right? And then communicate and learn how to communicate. Do I have to give this person a detailed list of what I want, or can I say this is my vision and then just go out and do it? Mm-hmm. Right. So it's just understanding those, and it's very powerful when you understand it for yourself, what you need and what your team needs.
Right. Yeah, and the more you understand it for yourself, when you are marketing yourself and promoting yourself, writing stuff for your website and your social media, you're going to you're going to come across, people are going to understand who you are better, and you're probably going to attract the right people. Like there's, of course, there's much more to copywriting than just that, but it helps.
It does. Like if you understand that, and Brandy, I'm just going to pick on you for a minute because I know you so well. Thank you for letting me pick on you.
Awesome.
So, for yourself, you are a process person, right?
Mm-hmm.
So for you, when you're looking for a target market, you are looking for people, or not target market, sorry, but client market. So if you want to look, this is the people that I want, right? So you're going to look for somebody who is, great at process that can help you that you can help them be better. Or you're going to work like somebody like me who says, I have a headache 10 minutes into this conversation. I am not process oriented. Just take it and figure it out for me. So
Right.
It's two opposites, right?
Mm-hmm.
Someone who just needs help to get better, and someone who goes, I'm here you are.
Yeah,
Right?
Exactly.
So understanding what you're good at, not just as not just as a service, but as a person, as a trait, as what motivates you. How do you think? What are you, left brain, right brain, right? If you understand those, then finding your perfect client makes it easier, because you're either going to attract exactly who you are, or you're going to attract the opposite. When you attract the opposite, that's good too, but you also need to understand it's going to take more patience.
Right.
Right. So working with people who are like you will be easier. People who are opposite will probably need your services, but it's going to take more energy.
Right.
And so understanding that will really hopefully open up who you want to work with, and how do you find that perfect person.
Yeah. And it's even a matter of, like, if you just know going into it, okay, this person's going to need more of my energy because they are like this. Yeah. If you know that going into it, then the chances of you getting frustrated with them and just having some sort of conflict and going, no, I hate this, we're done, the chances of that happening are way less, right? Because you know going into it what you're getting into.
Yeah. You will. So it's not that you're not going to get frustrated.
Oh, you will.
You will still get frustrated. You will still take time. But what's really interesting is you realize that it's not personal. This isn't about me or my ability or how great I am or my intelligence or what I'm good at. This is really about you having different expectations than I do, and the process of getting there, because your temperament is different. Right. And so you have a better chance of being more successful with a client if you understand that.
Mm-hmm. And could you ever see, like, say you know your temperament, you kind of know what you're like, and you are maybe talking with a potential client, and you can kind of get a feel for what they're like, and you know that you don't work well with that kind of person.
Right.
That gives you an opportunity to say, I don't think we're going to be a good fit.
Oh, absolutely.
Right.
Because if you're, here's a really good example, is if you've got somebody in front of you who you know will take more energy than you have time for right now, because they're opposite temperament, you have then a choice, right? If you're wide open and you're like, yeah, you'll take more energy, but I've got the time and the energy right now, and I'm really interested in the project you're doing, so I will put more energy and time in because the project is worth it. Great. But if it's the opposite, is like, I do love the project, but I don't have the time or the energy extra that it's going to take, then if you know that of yourself, that's a great time to say, this is a great project, but I'm not sure I'm the right person. And then always suggest somebody. Like I'm a client, but I always have people that I suggest, I think you'd be a great fit with this coach or this client, right? And I've had people say, why would you send me to someone else? I said, because this isn't about me. This is about you being more successful. And if I'm going to do a disservice to you by being a coach or consultant with you, if I know there's someone else who can help you better.
Yeah.
So what's really been interesting is then when you're crystal clear about that and you're honest with that person, I actually got 2 referrals from the person I sent to someone else.
Right.
Because they're like, she'll tell you. She'll tell you if you're good with her or not. She'll tell you the truth. Like,
Yeah.
she's,
it
and
just benefits everyone, right?
yeah, it really does.
Yeah.
So,
No, there's nothing I hate worse than leaving someone hanging. Just saying, no, sorry, I can't do it. And then because I think if I was the client, it's like, well, thanks for nothing. Like,
yeah, exactly. Yeah, absolutely.
All right. They better. Oh my God, it's almost 3:00.
This was going to take time.
Yeah. So, if anyone has any questions, please get them in the comments ASAP. But I did want to talk about some of the stuff that you've got going on right now.
Sure. So, I mean, Brandy and I have been involved in an event called LeaderCast for, Brandy, I think you were there from the very beginning. Like, this is our 8th year. 7th year. God, this is how long it's been. So, because I'm thinking of because at one time we did 2 LeaderCast a year. So I think this is actually my 9th LeaderCast, but my 7th year. That's what it is. 7th year, 9th LeaderCast. And this particular LeaderCast, we started this one, or the company started it actually, this one about a couple years ago, and it's called LeaderCast Women. So the event it's not just for women, but it means that this is a leadership event, personal greatness event. You will hear some amazing speakers, but all the speakers are women. So that's why it's called LeaderCast Women, that the speakers will be all women. So this event takes place in Atlanta, Georgia, and we stream it on a flex state, it's called, into Regina. And then we also have our local speakers. So we start off the day with breakfast and a little bit of a networking thing. You get shown to your seats. We have an incredible MC, which is Heather Lindholm. She's got her own business, a body talker. And then we go into the sessions, and we stream the first session, all the incredible women and stuff. We have a break. We go into our second streamed event. We have lunch. We have our own panel at lunch. And this year, our theme this year is Be Courageous, right? What takes it to be, how to be courageous. Let's try English again. How to be courageous, right?
Yeah.
And so we've got some incredible women who'll be talking about their stories. And I'm not going to give too much away because we haven't secured all of them yet. So I don't want to tell you who they are because I haven't got a yes yet. But we're looking for 3 things, actually, just to let you know who the women are going to be. We want a very diverse background and diverse age. Mm-hmm. So we want to make sure that we're hitting the diversity and the age and the ethnic background. So just know that that's the women who are going to be from Regina, going to be on stage. So, of course, they'll be live. And then we go back to our streaming, and then we have a leadership bag. And the leadership bag has promo information from all the businesses. So, again, if you want to put something in our leadership bag, that would be great. And then we usually have books in there. We have some really good tools on, tips on how to do things, how to move forward in different areas of your life. So this is an event that is transformational, because the stories you will hear about the women in their life, they'll be very honest. They don't hold anything back. And you'll be sharing these stories with probably about 100,000 other women around the world who will be hearing these women on stage. So it's a very powerful thing, because we would never be able to truly afford to bring these women of these calibers into Regina for one day. Like the budget that LeaderCast has, a multi-million-dollar company who's been doing this for 19 years now, and they have some, they've got Pepsi as a sponsor, and they've got some huge sponsors who help them do that, right? So it's really nice that you can sit, go home at the end of the night, think about it. I know we've got some people who are going to be probably coming from Weyburn and Yorkton and stuff. It's really going, people outside of Regina are understanding the power of this event, and they're coming and staying and stuff here. So it's, I'm truly proud to be able to be part of this for so many years and to continuously bring it to Regina. So it's a fun event, but it's a powerful event.
Yeah. It is. I remember, so because this will be the third LeaderCast Women, because I remember the first one was really, really awesome. Not only the speakers, just the energy in the room. And so I was sad to miss it last year.
You had a good excuse, so that we're good.
You almost missed it too, but you managed to squeeze in there.
Yeah, you're right. I almost did. Yeah.
I'm looking forward to it this year. So that's for people kind of in Regina and area. I popped the link in the comments if you want to see some information about that event. And then you had mentioned earlier about you had a coaching program.
Yeah, so we've got a really interesting coaching program. It's an 8-week course. It's called Learn, Grow, and Achieve. So it's all about how do you achieve in wherever you are. So if you're in your career, in your personal life, in your business, what is it that you want to achieve and what's been stopping you from getting there? And so what's interesting about this one is that it actually is an online course that you do. And then there's a workbook. Every week you get to do you get to do the videos, the workbook on it, and then every week we have a live coaching session with everybody who's taking this. Right, so we can do it as a group. We can support each other, and I answer all your questions. I do some one-on-one coaching within the group, and so it's been really interesting. The topics, I've got the list right here. So the topics within this the course, there are 8 modules. Are design your thinking, navigate failure, reflect, envision, and create your future, culture of greatness, overcoming difficult circumstances and conversations, connect and communicate to achieve the results you want, intentions create chaos or success, and the power of why.
Awesome.
Yeah. And so it'll be launched May 1st. We're going to be launching it.
Right. So yeah, we talked about, so registration isn't open as of right now. It's not open yet.
It'll be open hopefully next week. Yeah.
Right. So if anyone is interested in finding out the information about that, I'll make sure I will get the link from either Elizabeth or Sierra, and I will come back and post it for you guys so that you can see, or so that you don't miss out, just because we weren't able to make the timing work for when it was opening up.
Yeah, that sounds great.
All right. Sierra says the course has added a lot of value to both my professional and personal life. Right.
Great. I'm so glad.
Okay. Awesome. So I don't see any more questions. So let's, I'll give people another minute if they have a last minute question they want to pop in there. But we have to do the draw.
Oh, yes.
So we've got, okay, minus my comment, we've got 16 comments. So I need you to pick a number from 1 to 16, including 1 and 16.
Okay.
And then we'll see who the winner is.
Well, I'm going to pick the number 3 because I have 3 sons. So that's why I decided to have 3.
3.
Number
okay.
3.
So 1, 2. So 3. Number 3 is Susan. And I know Susan isn't here anymore because she commented that she had to run. So, Susan is the winner. She had to run for an appointment.
No problem, Susan.
So I will comment, I'll reply to her so she knows that she's won her social media feature.
Oh, that's a great thing.
Yeah. A little extra thank you to everyone.
Well, along that, Brandy, I really want to say thank you for inviting me here today and giving me this opportunity to talk about what I do and also just to spend time with you. I mean, I value so much, not just our friendship, but also our collaboration in what we've done in the past in LeaderCast, on the Regina Women's Board that we worked together, and all the little projects that we were able to help each other within our business and find clarity in the direction we were going. I mean, certainly, you know, as the last few years, even in my own life, as I was trying to define my business and change the name, this is the 3rd name, Brandy has been such a helpful, such an inspiration to help me find clarity, even in my own business and stuff, and certainly in a lot of the things that our personal lives have had a lot of similar things going on.
Yeah.
So that's been good. But just being here and having these conversations and sharing and hearing your wisdom, because you've gone through a lot too. And I love the fact that we can just sit here and chat and hopefully help other people find clarity and wisdom in what they want to do. So thank you very much.
It's the warm, fuzzy part of the show. Yeah. Kind of just to continue on with that, I think like the one thing, and I've only run across maybe a handful, definitely less than I can count on one hand, of other business owners that I have met since I, started this whole thing, that are so willing to help, right? Like because we are all busy, you reach out to someone and say, hey, can I get your feedback on whatever it is? And they're just like, they might say yeah, and then you never hear from them again, or they might just say like, I can't do it. Right. But Elizabeth is one of the few that's always willing to help out. Right. And so I really appreciate that. And it's just a testament to how much she wants to help people. So she's added a lot of value. You guys don't even know it, but you are indirectly benefiting from her through what I'm doing, because she has helped me develop what I'm doing now. Right?
But that's what a good group of support and like-minded women can do for each other.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, for sure. Okay. All right. Valerie says this has been thought-provoking and educational. Ooh, I'm losing my English. Yeah. So let's wrap it up. Just a quick heads up about tomorrow for everyone still watching. So tomorrow at 11 a.m., we're going to have the next guest speaker, which is Charlene Sanjenko. And I know she was here at some point, but I don't know if she's still here. We're going to be talking about women in leadership. And it's a big, broad topic, but she's so enthusiastic about it that you'll get lots and lots of takeaways. So that's 11 a.m. Central Standard Time. So wherever you are in the world, I hope you can tune in. And then I just wanted, again, to thank Elizabeth for taking the time to join us. I know when I texted you and I was like, I know you're busy, but what are you doing on Thursday? And she said, yes, I will do it.
I'll make it work.
Yeah. So thank you so much for that. And then thank you to everyone who popped in and was able to make it live today for our 1, 2, 3. This is the fourth guest speaker, but like the 6th live stream this week. So thanks for hanging in there with me, everyone. And I hope you're getting lots of value out of these sessions.
Bye, everybody. Thank you.
Have an awesome Thursday, and I'll see everyone tomorrow morning. Bye.